But we start here at 5 with the trial of a man accused of killing a woman in a fit of road rage.
22-year-old Julian Zavaleta testified today and told the jury he killed Shantel Jones in the AutoZone parking lot near 51st and Peoria in self-defense. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lori Fulbright.
And I'm Craig Day. News on 6's Reagan Ledbetter is live at the courthouse with more on Zavaleta's testimony. Reagan?
Craig and Lori, Julian Zavaleta was emotional on the stand today. He says he shot Shantel Jones in self-defense because she threatened him, and he says he thought she was reaching for a gun in her hoodie pocket. He says he regrets that this all happened, but he says he feared for his life and felt that shooting her was his only option. Now, Zavaleta says this all started because Jones cut him off in traffic and sideswiped his car. He says he was following the victim into the parking lot to check the damage on his car and then exchange insurance information. He says that's when the victim got out of her car, and he says charged at Zavaleta and was yelling at him and even threatened to kill him. Zavaleta says he saw the victim reach into her pocket and thought it was a gun, so that's when he pulled out his gun and shot her. He says he assumed it was a gun, but investigators later found out the victim did not have a gun. Now, Zavaleta sped away from the scene and says he did so because he was scared. He went to his family's restaurant, handed them the gun, and then turned himself into police.
So, Reagan, we know, because you told us 3 eyewitnesses testified earlier this week. Were their stories the same as his?
Lori, I'd say the nuts and bolts details of the situation were similar, but all 3 witnesses had very similar testimony about what happened. They all say Zavaleta blocked the victim into her spot, and all 3 say the victim didn't appear to pose any threat, didn't charge at the victim. One of them said that she was yelling at Zavaleta, but all 3 of them said that Zavaleta quickly pulled the gun and shot her. One of the eyewitnesses was in the parking lot on the phone with her brother, and she says that she's positive she saw Zavaleta speed into the lot, closely following the victim, and said he had a gun held up in the air and his eyes were locked on the victim's car. Now, Zavaleta testified today that he was not holding a gun when he was driving in the parking lot. He says that was his cell phone. He says his gun was in his right hip holster, and it would have been impossible for him to reach over and do that when he had his phone in his hand.
Reagan, I'm curious, what have you been able to learn about the victim this week?
I talked to Shantel's sister this week. Obviously, they're very emotional. This all happened. They say Shantel is from New York. She moved to Tulsa, was here for quite a while, and was actually getting ready to move to Atlanta to be closer to her other sisters. She's the youngest of 6 sisters, and they all feel like a part of her is missing now. Now, what's next in this trial? Prosecutors, defense attorney will give their closing arguments tomorrow morning. Then it'll go to the jury.
All right, Reagan, thanks for that live report. We appreciate it.